Hello and welcome to 3 and Out on TV Piedmont Channel 60. As promised, Orlovsky brought on the terrible towel. I'm your host, Brian Carter, alongside Ryan Orlovsky. It should be a good one for you today. Ryan's got the rundown for us, all baseball show.
On the opening tip, we role play as Hall of Fame voters. We'll hit up our fans' emails on the 7th inning stretch, and on third down will be our 2009 Major League Baseball predictions. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or topic requests, feel free to email us at 3andoutsports@gmail.com. All emailers receive a free 3 and Out pen.
Yep, while supplies last. Remember to check out our MySpace page at www.myspace.com/3andoutsports or on YouTube. We are now members of the BBWAA, that's the Baseball Writers of America Association. I was going to be my boy at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Rick Hummel, but instead I'm going to be Woody Page of Pardon the Interruption and also of the Denver Post. And Orlovsky's going to be Peter Gammons of ESPN. We are going to give our thoughts on each player in question as to if we would vote for them for the Hall of Fame when their time comes, or if some of them have already come up for that. So, without further ado, we are Peter Gammons and Woody Page. So let's start out. ARod, does he deserve a spot in Cooperstown?
Well, in my eyes, I think the Baseball Hall of Fame should be about how you performed throughout your major league career, but also how you conducted yourself. Did you play the game it was meant to be played the way Cobb and Wagner and DiMaggio did, or did you do more to hurt the game, which is how I feel about some of these players? ARod, however, is not one of these guys. He owned up to using steroids early enough, and he admitted it to using them only in his first year as a Ranger uniform because of the pressure that was put on him. ARod quickly changed his mind because he knew what was right for the game. Therefore, I feel he deserves to get in. He's one of the greatest shortstops, third basemen to ever play the game.
Okay, I'm going to say yes. I don't believe him all the way, though. If you don't let ARod in, though, the question is, who do you let in? Because he has been one of the face of baseball. He's one of the highest paid players, one of the biggest role models. I don't buy his excuses on being young and stupid. I just don't buy into that. But you have to give him the benefit of the doubt for being clean since he's been in New York, because he has passed his tests since then. And you have to also give him brownie points for actually coming clean, which amongst all the allegations, he wasn't sitting there denying, although he probably would not have said anything had no one come through with that. But even when evidence was brought up against him, he wasn't like a Barry Bonds. He actually did say, yeah, I messed up, I took steroids. So for that, you have to let him in. So let's go with Barry Bonds on that note.
Absolutely not. He did have an excellent career, without a doubt, before he started taking the steroids in the second half of his career. But the way he went out with so much controversy and the way things are up to this day with all the lies he has told, he's done more to hurt the game of baseball than he has to help it. Therefore, I don't see him getting into the Hall of Fame.
I agree, but he did have a great career going. But listen, Peter, he denied. He lashed out at the media time and time again. How many players were willing to testify against him? His own personal trainer. The list goes on, and with the syringes that have his DNA on it, with people willing to come forth and testify, and then you have that his hat size went up a bunch. He lost his mobility, his speed. He had a sudden spike in home runs. I think he got jealous of Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa during the '98 home run race. And I think Pujols, I'm going to be a little partial, but I think Pujols should have about 5 MVPs right now. And anything from the year 2000 to 2007, those stats should be erased for Barry Bonds, because he had a career-high 42 home runs prior to the year 2000. After that, his home runs went from 49 and then a sudden jump to 73, back down to 46, and then 45 for the next 2 years, winning 4 MVPs in that span. And he stole between 40 and 50 bases a year up until '98. Then he only stole 28 bases, and then hardly anything after that. And as the last bit of evidence I'll bring up, his range factor. He used to be an excellent fielder. His range factor was consistently in the 2s. And then all of a sudden in 2001, it went down to 1.86 and then hovered below that thereafter. So now we'll go into Mark McGwire.
Well, Woody, I believe that Mark McGwire is worthy of being in the Hall of Fame, because McGwire, yes, he used steroids, but at the same time...
How do you know that, though? That it's never been proven.
You're right. It hasn't been proven like they're going through with Bonds, and that's one of the reasons why you have to kind of let Mark McGwire into the Hall of Fame, just because he saved baseball. And the time when ratings in Major League Baseball were down in 1998, when the game itself was falling apart, McGwire and Sammy Sosa, I believe, saved the game of baseball. They gave America something to cheer about, and for that they should both be admired, breaking Maris's record. Therefore, I feel McGwire is worthy of being in the Hall of Fame.
You stole my words. That's exactly what I was going to say. He did save the game of baseball in '98. As you mentioned, not much interest in the game. He brought people to the ballpark. Deep down, as a Cardinals fan, I'm Woody Page. I'm a Cardinals fan. I usually support the Cards. Deep down, I know he probably took something, but at that time, a lot of what he was taking was energy supplements such as androstene. We know he took that. But then, there was probably some other hardcore stuff he took in there as well. But at the same time, I mean, there's not any rock-solid evidence against him. And he did hit 49 home runs as a rookie, and he was a little stick figure guy. So, he did have a spike in home runs, but he was always consistently hitting 50 or more home runs. He didn't have a huge spike in home runs. So then let's get into Sammy Sosa. I'm going to go ahead and just have a short line on him. I'm going to say no way. All of a sudden, he forgot how to speak English in front of Congress. That really kind of irritated me. And then there's too much lying and too much denying. And then we do know he corks his bat, so I'm sure he went the extra mile and took some roids as well.
Well, like I said earlier, Sosa, I feel, was one of the guys that saved the game of baseball. And like I mentioned earlier as well, it's about how you played the game of baseball, how you conducted yourself. Did you play it the way it was meant to be played? And look what Sosa did every time he took the field, sprinting to his position. That's taking pride and respecting the game of baseball. So therefore, I think he'd be a worthy candidate to get into the Hall of Fame.
Okay, quickly, do you think C-League is to blame for the steroid era?
Absolutely not.
I think he is because I think he knew what was going on. He didn't do his job by scrutinizing. When you see all of a sudden two players, Maris had 61 homers and 61, and then, there's that void of no one getting anywhere near that. And then all of a sudden 98 comes around, you have a lot of players. Ken Griffey Jr. was in that home run race for a while. He didn't scrutinize those players one bit, so I think he didn't do his job there. He kind of led people on to think that maybe it was okay to do that kind of thing. But let's go ahead now. We are finished. Let's go ahead and give away our game balls. So we hope you enjoyed that segment. My game ball, speaking of the devil, is going to actually go to Ken Griffey Jr. I picked Ken Griffey Jr. for my game ball because he was stuck between going to the Atlanta Braves and actually took a little bit of a pay cut to go back to the Seattle Mariners. The reason I choose him for my game ball is because, unlike other players going for the quick buck, he talked to Willie Mays, he talked to Hank Aaron, two legends of baseball, and they told him, go where you want to be remembered for the next 50 years to have ended your career, because Mays messed up, went to the Mets, and then Aaron went to the Milwaukee Brewers to end out his career. It's like Michael Jordan with the Wizards. It just doesn't feel right.
And I got to give my game ball to DeJuan Blair of the University of Pittsburgh Panthers basketball team for his performance to get #1 ranked UConn. Blair had 22 points and 23 rebounds in 38 minutes against the Huskies, and he got his team that #1 ranking on the road.
Yeah, awesome. We're going to take a timeout, but straight ahead is the 7th inning stretch. Keep it here for more 3 and Out.